Solid Podcast. We are so excited to have you tune in to this one today. We've got some special guests and good friends of ours here today that you're going to learn a lot from. We've known these gentlemen for many, many years. Gary Kornegay Sr., we've known for, 25 plus years, and he brought his son, G2. We used to call him Little Gary, but he says Little Gary doesn't work anymore.
He's grown out of that one, right?
That's so
Yeah, he's not little no more.
There we go.
So he has a little Gary now.
Right.
So it's G1, G2, and then he has a G3.
G3.
Yeah.
So just so excited to have you all hear from these gentlemen. Talk about the perfect people to have on the Solid Podcast with all around solid lives. Gary Kornegay grew up in South Central LA. I'm sure he'll talk a little bit about that. He's got a book out called The Preacher's Kid that's been out for quite a while. Great book. Recommend you all read that. And I'm excited to hear from these two today. Gary taught Jeff and I really how to build business, how to do business many, many years ago. Back in 2005, Gary, you came out here to Utah and did a great event for our organization back then. I was a young, I don't know how old I was, 24, 25.
Yeah,
something
I remember
like
I think I called you young or something on one of the tapes or something. A little young
did.
guy like.
I think so. You said you would beat him in a foot race. If I
Yeah, changed my diaper.
He's been running ever
Yeah,
since.
that's what I said. That's what I said.
So I caught crap for that for a long time.
I apologize. I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. It's good. It's good. So anyway, we're going to have a great discussion today. Excited to have these two gentlemen on, and appreciate you both coming out, flying out here all the way from LA.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have this conversation.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, Gary, would you mind telling us a little bit about your story? You tell our listeners where you came from, what you've been doing the last 30 plus years. And
Yeah, well, I grew up in a traditional nuclear household. My dad was a pastor, mom school teacher. My parents are from the South, so my daddy migrated from North Carolina. My mom migrated from Louisiana, ended up in California. And my dad is 15 years older than my mom. She was born in 1923. She was born in 1938. And back then, I guess it was legal to be able to 34-year-old marry a 19-year-old. But I had a great family, great household. I had 3 brothers, Christian-based family. Very, very strict household. I mean, I had
your dad is a preacher, correct?
Pentecostal preacher on top of that. So very strict household. I couldn't play sports, couldn't get involved in any Boy Scouts. How strict it was, if you were divorced, we couldn't even play with you if your parents were divorced.
Okay.
Okay, this is the 1960s, 70s, when a nuclear family was the thing. So we kind of grew up in a strict household, but a loving household. Because my mom was so younger than my dad owned a maintenance company, and he ran his business, cleaning grocery stores, and put my mom through college. So she was 19, she's in college. My dad's already 34 years old. And we used to look at LA at that time. It was not South Central, by the way. It was just called Los Angeles.
Okay.
And then it changed to South Central when the gangs infiltrated Los Angeles right after the 1970-ish is when J. Edgar Hoover dismantled what they call the Black Panther Party. And that created this other thing that we now know as street gangs in the inner city. And that happened to start on our street. Of all streets in LA, LA's big. But for the Crips to start on my actual street, when we were young, and we're like, well, we're never gonna get involved in those guys. Those are knuckleheads, we're Christians, those are thugs. Mm-hmm. You know, my parents always warned us. I remember one time, I wanted to buy a leather coat, and my parents said, no, that's for hoodlums. Mm-hmm. You know, leather coats, that's for gangbangers.
Yeah.
My son's probably going, what? But back then, Gary, that's what it was like.
That's hilarious.
So we had a great family. And then the climate changed. Gangs came in, and we were still not involved in gangs. And then in '83, crack cocaine came through. And then that just like throwing a match in a room full of gas. And so then the gangs and the drug leaders got involved, and my brothers all got involved in both of them. Drugs first, then drugs led into gangs, because you can't sell drugs in a gang neighborhood without joining a gang. And I was a square. My cousin, who's a gang member, wrote a book about his life in prison for 30 years. And in the book, he put, I want to thank my cousin Gary, who's a square, which means you got a regular job, you don't get involved in gangs, you don't do drugs.
Sure.
So I'm the square of the family, and became a paramedic, did that for 5 years in medicine. thought I'd do that. I DJ'd on the weekends, and I stumbled into the financial business at 24 years old, and the rest is history in that sense.
Wow.
And then this guy came about and changed the game.
No, I didn't do a very good job of this. I always got to go back on my intro sometimes because as you're talking here, there's where you came from. And today, the Kornegays have got a very successful business that is all across the country. In fact, you were saying you live in California, but 60+% of your organization is across the country.
Yeah.
And a lot of that's grown organically
Yes, that's correct.
because of the systems you've put in place over time. And you've been doing it for a long time too, and you've blessed a lot of lives. You blessed thousands of families. You helped them get on track. You've protected them with term life insurance.
Right.
You've helped them become financially independent. You've helped them become debt-free.
Yeah.
Those are just your clients. But then all those many hundreds of people that work with you, and how many of those people are with you now that have become financially independent and live great lives because of what you've done there as well.
Yeah.
And we've been able to watch this happen from when we were younger in the business and watch all that and then work side by side with you for many, many years. And we just got a lot from you both as you did that. But maybe talk about, what are some things that you both have done? I mean, you've learned from your dad, of course.
Yeah.
But you do it now. But what are some things you've done to attribute to all this success you've had, not just in business, but with your family? You've got a family, 4 kids.
Yeah.
What are some things that you
Well,
attribute?
first of all, man, I spent more time studying you guys than you guys know. At like 14, 15, being around really more so Jeff. Jeff was like the young knucklehead,
He still is.
Not much has changed.
No, I'm just saying,
He's not the
Brandon
young
has always
part
been
anymore.
like the senior, and so it's like a real. The nature of our business is really family oriented, right? And so these guys are like my older brothers, but he's definitely like the big brother that's out the house, and Jeff's like your brother that's teaching you lessons, Always looked up to Jeff and Brandon, but just always wanted to be in business, man. Obviously, growing up in a household full of entrepreneurs, you aspire to be what you're around, and so I knew that working a traditional 9-to-5 job wasn't going to be it, but I wanted to mirror myself after him. I got turned on very young, as we all know, to multi-level marketing. I fell in love with that, man. Just kind of looking at the numbers, you draw circles and circles and circles. Then you add comp to it, and it's just like, man, it just gets you going inside.
Yep.
And then the personal development that's attached to it, that got me going.
Yeah.
Never thought, not a diss to what my dad does, but I never thought in a million years, like, I'd get into financial services. Like, that just wasn't my thing. I'm a music guy, I love music. That's like my heart, my passion. I'm the kind of guy I lock myself in the studio. I can be in there for days, forget to eat, forget to take a shower, put deodorant on, things like that, right? But being in an environment around him, some of the things start rubbing off, and then we had a conversation, man. But really, unfortunately, it was on the back of his mother passing away. But we had a conversation after his mom passed away, trying to figure out, like, how does the inheritance happen from the real estate that they purchased in the 1960s and 1970s? How does that transfer over to him? And just kind of being the quiet kid, just sitting back and observing, watching the adults talk, I realized that wealth transfer wasn't going to happen because of lack of communication, lack of planning, and it just woke something up inside of me, Jeff, where it was like, you know what, I can't be mad that he didn't do that or that he didn't have that conversation with his parents. Because I'm not having that conversation with my dad. I'm so hell-bent on trying to make it in music, trying to do my thing. I wasn't good at it. You guys didn't tell me I sucked at music, by the way. I was a horrible artist. The music wasn't good. But
you got good taste, though.
I guess. But just because I wasn't making good music, to be honest with you. I go back and listen to some of that stuff, like, man, I hope my kids don't find this stuff. I hope I had to delete some of this stuff off the
You
internet.
loved it though,
I loved it.
Enjoying yourself.
Yeah, I did.
It's a season in life.
I tell my kids, bro, with art, it can never be wrong.
Yeah,
It's art.
I got you. Well, I look at it and I go, oh yeah, no, that wasn't it. I missed the marker on that one. But I'm glad that stuff happened, man, because it made me start understanding his business. It made me want to learn.
Yeah.
And so watching my grandmother's estate kind of be handled or mishandled because of lack of communication, it made me go, you know what, let's start having some real dialogue here, Dad.
Lack of communication and education, probably both, right?
Yeah, well, it's a little bit of both, but and like I said, I'm not trying to be rude and disrespect my grandmother, but it truthfully was a little bit of stubbornness as well.
Okay.
It was kind of like, hey man, like I'm gonna have this conversation later, and unfortunately later never came. And so, yeah, we ended up losing 3 of the 4 homes that she purchased in the 1960s and 1970s. But that woke me up. If that wouldn't have happened, I wouldn't have said, teach me your business.
Right.
So I got involved just to learn. I just wanted to learn checks and balances. I wanted to be able to grow an organization, how to deal with the people, learn the product, how to scale and grow a business. Those are the things that I wanted to learn. I was very hungry for that at 20 years old.
Don't you think that your dad's lifestyle and the life that he built and the life that he was living impacted your desire, though, to not just learn but also be attracted?
100%.
Because I think one of the things your dad's always done is had fun.
Yeah.
He's always had a good time. He's always enjoyed it.
He calls it plurking.
Yeah.
It's like playing and working.
Yeah.
So it's like you.
Hey, I figure we got to be careful. That might be a play on twerking.
Oh no. So watch this, man. The epiphany happened for me at like 15, 16 years old. So he's exactly 30 years older than me. So it had to be when I was 16. He threw himself a sweet 46. I don't know any 46-year-olds that want to compete with a 16-year-old. So sweet 16, he did a sweet 46 and bought himself a brand new Lambo. And at that,
was that the yellow one?
That was the yellow one.
All right.
And
that's the first Lambo I ever drove.
Man, that was
first exotic car I ever drove.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think it's for a lot of people, actually.
Yeah,
actually, a lot of people in that industry, like that was kind of frowned upon, you know?
Right.
But that was a vision stretch. And I was like, man, like there's something different. He's doing something different. It wasn't the work that I was looking at. It was really more so like his results are different than everybody else. All of my friends, I was able to gather that much at 16, but then at 20, we start talking numbers. And so I was like, man, how much money do you make? I think that's a very direct question. Traditionally in black households, you ask that question, it's followed by a question. Why, you want to pay a bill?
Yeah.
Right? And so when I asked that question, he didn't hit me with an ego, he didn't hit me with pride. And he told me exactly how much money he was making, and it blew me away, dude.
Yeah.
It truthfully blew me away. I understood we had a great lifestyle, but in my head, coming from the music industry, it's like, you hear Lil Wayne, man, I make $10,000 a show. I'm like, this dude's got to make $10,000 a month. And then here he was making like 7 times more than that. I was like, I'm interested. I'm extremely interested. Now, it's funny. I get involved in business and I start mirroring myself after him just with the habits, right? Showing up to the office every day, right? Being the first one there, last one to leave. But because I started learning those habits, I got involved in competition. Now, remember, I got involved in business because I wanted to learn the ins and outs of the family business. But just by following his habits, I started competing. Yeah. And then I got a taste of like, I never competed in anything I did, man. I was horrible at sports. I never wanted to be the best rapper alive. But for some reason, competition in business got me excited. And it caused me to want to grow. It caused me to want to read more, caused me to want to outwork the next person, want to get better at closing, become a better orator on stage, and made me want to just get better. And so that competition piece really is what fueled a lot of my early on success. But I think it kind of ruffled some feathers inside of his organization, man, in a beautiful way. For sure. So that's really where iron sharpened iron. But if he doesn't give me the lifestyle, if he doesn't show me the lifestyle, at 20 years old, I became extremely appreciative about the lifestyle that he created for me. Then I started following to the office, Jeff. Then I started realizing that, man, this dude's hanging out with his friends. Like this guy's building. He has a real family culture. This is his man cave, but he's getting paid to hang out in his man cave, and he calls it a office. And I was like, oh, this is it, man. This is it for me.
I love that. You know, I think another thing that's powerful is not only were you attracted to the lifestyle, not only were you seeing him have a good time, but also he wanted you to follow in his footsteps.
Well,
which is somewhat unique, right?
Well, that wasn't the case.
Okay.
All right. So I approached him and I said, hey, Dad, I want to do what you do. Right? How much money do you make? He told me the number. I said, man, I want to do it. In my head, Jeff, I'm like, man, if they're paying him that much, they'll pay me half of it. All right? If I'm not as good, I'm not as polished as him, 25 years in the business. If he's teaching me, I know I at least make half of that. He says, Gary, I'll pay you 10 grand a month to stay the hell away from my business.
Wow.
Well, why is that? Gary, why were you thinking that way?
Well, because I was going through something. My mom was battling cancer, and the last 9 months of her life, I had her come to live with me. You know, my awesome wife, Patricia, took care of my mother every day while I was obviously running my business. And then in June of 2013, at a company convention of 40,000 people, in that convention, watching the whole stage, I won all the awards, and I've been speaking on stage, you guys know, and a lot of accolades in the business, but it came real to me what's important. My mom's at home dying of cancer. I'm at a company event. So I said, I'm done. That's it. So June 2013, I'm no longer doing Pamerica. You know, I'm just gonna get my check, stay out the way, because if this is about God, family, business, my mom's my family. And so that's why I checked out mentally. And that was June of 2013. Spent the last 9 months with my mom. She died in November 2013. But I didn't know that he was looking at me through his peripheral. So I was just doing my thing. I'm done. And that was it. And then when he came in and told me to do Primerica, I'm like, dude, you bad timing, bro. I'm done.
Yeah.
And you were how old at that time?
I was 20.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm 50. He's 20. My mom just died. You know, we made a lot of money. We have a great life. We don't need any more money. That's not the thing, you know. I support your entertainment business. Go do that. But if you get involved, you're going to cause me to get back involved. 'Cause I'm not going to have somebody train my own son like
Right.
all the millionaires do.
I love this because this leads to my next question.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm ready for it. What's your next question?
My next question is, I remember one time Gary starts winning, because you did. You start spending time with Gary. You start helping Gary win. He starts winning. He starts dominating your hierarchy, beating everybody, and then you get all these people pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's just winning because his dad's helping him.
Yeah.
I remember you and I having a conversation. You said, isn't that what a dad's supposed to do? It changed the way I looked at it forever, because it's like, man, you have kids. You're supposed to help your kids win. Like, why is everybody hating on you trying to help your son win? That's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah, I was really angry about
So
that.
talk through that, because I think that, I mean, to watch G2 grow through all this, watch him compete. He did. He started dominating, started beating people who've been in the business a lot longer than him. Right. But then you as a father seeing that, but also having to navigate through that, knowing that some of your top leaders' best friends were hating that you were helping him.
Yeah, that really annoyed me, man. It really bothered me, you know, as a father of a man, a young man, who wants to emulate what I've done with my life. And me speaking across the country for, at that time, I don't know, 20-something years, 25 years, something like that. And I'm talking about, you know, it's for your family, it's for your family, it's for your family. I'm on tapes, family, family. You could build something great with your family, your family. And then I get my family to business, and people in the business hating on my family. And that didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
You know, and so people started jabbing him and saying stupid stuff. And so then I had to put my dad hat on. Yeah, okay, I'm no longer your leader. I'm his father. Okay, at the end of the day, all you guys can be gone. He'll still be my son no matter what. So I'm never going to disrespect my son ever. And if you ever disrespect my son, you're out of here. I had to lay the law down, because they were saying things like, you know, earn, not given. And they would say things like, your father's helping you, that's why you're beating us. But the guys that were saying that was the guys that I actually helped them.
Yeah.
When they were school teachers and construction workers and warehousemen and making no money, I changed their life. And now I'm helping my own son, and they're like having a problem with that. So I didn't like that. And they knew it, by the way.
Yeah.
So I lit the whole room up one day, you know, and that's why I really relate to Deion Sanders and his relationship with his sons, and how people try to hate on his kids and punish his son and make him wait in the draft.
Yeah.
You know, that bothered me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it really did. It's like, wow, it kind of brought something out of me. Like, wow, why they doing that to his son?
Yeah.
You know, because maybe you don't like Deion's style. You don't like him. Maybe you're competitive like that, but why are you punishing the next generation?
So did you see some of this happening? Is why when G2 came, you said, man, I want to start a business. You knew he wasn't just going to have to do the work everybody else had to do, but he was also going to have to put up with some criticism. Did you see that, or it just happened?
I didn't see that coming, to be honest with you, okay? Not from my own team.
Right.
I have a nice crew, and we're beating the pants off a lot of people in the company, and we're one, we're united. And then when he got in the business, I saw a little division in the environment. Like, what's up with that? You know? So that's when I started paying attention. I said, okay, let me start paying attention. Because Gary was not supposed to get involved in the business to compete.
Yeah.
He was there to learn the family office, taxes, estate planning, you know, who owes us money, because we own rental stuff going on as well, rental properties. We had RBPs paying us rent. So he needed to know the business side of it, because he got spooked when my mom died, and me and my three brothers didn't know my mother's business affairs.
Right.
And so he's like, oh, I need to learn my daddy's business. Once he got in the business, it went from this rich kid sitting on the side learning his daddy's business to him now putting a jersey on.
By choice.
Yeah.
Let's go.
He gets there to put a jersey on. Well, what, you think these players going to be light on you? They're going to tackle you. They're going to embarrass you.
Yeah.
You might not make the cut.
So, but don't you think that's part of a competitive environment that you built too?
That's it.
It's like, I mean, you built that environment. You built these guys to compete, and I know because we learned. We'll get into this here in a second. All the stuff we learned from you, so I know where they learned it from.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kind of you created that, right?
Yeah, of course.
So maybe it was unexpected, but from my perspective, I seen that help G2.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Because he was the right man. So maybe talk about what you did to create that environment that led to this impact, but also made it better for G2. Because had he not gone through that, I don't think he would have built what he's been able to build.
Well, in business, you guys know, competition drives innovation. You got to have internal competition. I don't even like to use the word healthy competition. Mm-hmm. Competition is just competition.
Yeah.
Right? So we had office competition, but we're competing with every other hierarchy. It was about us and nobody else. But I also knew that having an outside enemy brings unity. Okay? If someone's trying to put you guys, your window business out of business, your players here will go, hey, they said something bad about us. Mm-hmm. Well, those two guys that were competing in the office now become friends. Mm-hmm. So I learned from Art Williams that you have to have an outside enemy. Because that's how you innovate, we get better. And I think just in America itself, as a country, what makes it one of the greatest countries in the world is we have the free enterprise system, where someone invented this mic, and if they were the only microphone on the planet, they'd raise the price, and it'd be a terrible mic. Yeah. But because we have another company that says, I could do that better, is what keeps this guy in order. Mm-hmm. So I create the environment so they can compete and grow. Get it? And then obviously I brought him in, or he brought himself in, and then somehow he's in the environment. What are you doing, bro? You got a jersey on. Oh, whoa. That's my son, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't not no more.
Yeah.
He's out there, well, okay, G, handle your business.
That's it.
And he handled his business. I don't know how long it took you to start beating the guys that have been around me forever. I don't know, what was it, a year?
7 months, 7, 8 months.
7 months.
7 months, but no, who's counting?
Yeah.
Right? So G2, you agree with that this environment, like if you would have come into an environment that didn't have the competition, that didn't maybe treat you that way because, do you agree that maybe it made you better?
Yeah, it totally made me better. I'm grateful that he set that environment. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful that he left a path.
Yeah.
So I go back and listen to his talks. So it's funny, man. You guys referenced Gary Kornegay from 2005. Mm-hmm. It's now, at that particular time, it's now 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
And I'm like listening to audios of my dad from 2005, and I'm like, bro, where's this guy at? I want to meet this guy, bro. This guy's a savage, bro. That guy's, the older version, the younger version of my dad was really what was fueling my ability to compete, but I'm now have the wisdom of a 50-year-old guy coaching me.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of both, and then being thrown in the environment, these guys wanted to tear me up, dude.
Yeah.
The young guys that he had on his team wanted to tear me up, tear me to pieces. They wanted to be the first one to hit, the first one to, but I'm grateful for them.
Yeah.
Because if I don't walk into that environment, I don't see past the money.
Yeah.
So Gary, what would you say? Your mother died, and you had that moment where you're going, okay, I'm done. I'm got a family business. What'd you learn through that and getting this back, this fire going again? Talk to us about that if you don't mind, because that happens to all of us. We get the wind knocked out of us sometimes, and we might have that thought of, oh boy, are my priorities off? Because I don't think your priorities were off at all when you're building your business, right? But what did you learn? And maybe if you don't mind sharing, what?
Well, I'll tell you two opposite sides of the coin, okay? My wife's mom, my mother-in-law, was not a fan of me quitting my job to start my own business, okay? Because she's more of a go to school, get education, and her daughter, who I married, was already working a good job with the city of Los Angeles. And so I was a paramedic, and I was aspiring to be a paramedic with the fire department. So when me and Pat got married, that was our story. You're gonna be with the city, I'm gonna get with the city, we're gonna live happily ever after as city employees. And all of a sudden I get introduced to this business, entrepreneurship, and I ended up quitting my job, going full-time into business that I had no background in, no experience in. So her mother was really like, whoa, you're not quitting your job, Patricia, to do what he's doing. So we had a little bit of a beef for a long time in our marriage with her mom, to the point where her mom wouldn't even come to my home to visit us. That's how bad it got. And it wasn't just for business, religious reasons too. We had conflict in our different I believe spiritually with her mom, not my wife. And so I'm working, building a business. He's born. I'm already 5 years in the game. I'm already making $20,000 a month when he was born. So I'm deep, deep, deep into the game. And then her mom came to visit us and spent a couple of days with us, and she bent my ear a little bit, like, hey, you're never home. You know, every time I come by, you're never there. You're working too much. He needs a father at home. The guilt trip, right? I'm like, dang, man. Yeah, you hear all these stories about how black fathers not in the young black boys' lives, and I don't want to be that guy. You know, I don't want to be the guy coming at 11 o'clock at night eating out the microwave, but they had dinner at 6 o'clock. You know, I didn't want to be that guy. But I just kept plowing through. Years later, her mom come to stay with me, and I'm home every day. Mm-hmm. I drive her brother back to South Central LA from our suburban house. She said, I want to talk to you. Oh, yes, Ms. Harmon, what's up? I'm really concerned about my grandkids. What's going on? I was at your home for a week, and you never did anything. You didn't work. These kids are going to be spoiled. They need to see you work. I go, what?
Yeah.
I go, I couldn't live.
People are so dang opinionated, aren't they?
Yeah.
About everything.
Yeah. And so they need to see you work. I'm concerned because, you know, Gary's buying, you know, boxer shoes and money's not an issue for him. My daughter had a big party for her, and he's driving a Lamborghini at 15. She's like, oh, no. So she felt like her grandkids are now going to be spoiled, rich kids. And she was really concerned about my work ethic, okay? Now, she didn't know that I'm working.
This is the same woman that was talking to you 10 years,
yes,
20 years prior.
Told me I was working too much.
Yeah.
So then Shane Rudman, great friend of ours, called me up on some other business, and he said, hey, Gary, you know, take your son Rich to the office. Let him see you work. Let him see you work, okay? Because his kids didn't see that part. I said, cool. So I told my wife, Pat, when I get him to go to the office, get him dressed. He's a kid. He didn't want to be around. I go, honey, just get him dressed. He's going to shadow me in business, and he did that. And then Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad Arthur, is a friend of ours, met with Gary as well, and he gave me some tips as well on how I need to homeschool him because schools are designed for followers, traditional schools, government schools,
Yeah.
and that kind of helped me as well. And that kind of changed the paradigm, the way I thought about it. I got back in the game again because I wanted him to see me working as hard to build the next generation of Kornegays. Because, you know, most wealth is lost in the third generation. Right. And that's true, and I'm hoping that G3 don't mess it up or his daughters. But I think the work ethic I wanted to show him. My daddy showed me work ethic.
Right.
I want to show him work ethic. He already saw lifestyle. He needs to see work ethic.
Right.
So that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah.
It's great. So yeah, we go through those different seasons. Jeff and I kind of went through that a little bit too.
Yeah.
Going, okay,
Yep,
what do we
we
do?
did.
What do we do now? And same thing. We got to
Yeah.
show our kids what it's like to be out there and change, you know, doing what we can to improve the world around us and do all that. You know, something else I think that you really brought to my attention, I think this would help a lot of the guys that we work with and a lot of people out there that are maybe in an organization where they're building teams of people, is the difference between, I don't know if using greed is the right word, but there's a lot of greedy people in this world. And I think sometimes when people get into business or into sales, they tend to think more about that the commission they make on each transaction over taking care of their people first.
Yeah.
And I've watched you both, and I've watched you and your organization truly do what's best for your people. I remember one thing specifically, and maybe you can talk about your mindset with this, is you said that, you know, when I'd go out with a new person who was already licensed, I let them put their name on the sale every time and get 100% of the commission. I never split with my people.
Right.
And I see that mistake happening often.
Yes.
You go, well, I'm going out with them, I should split it. And I adopted your strategy when you said that, and always kept that strategy, and I think it suited us pretty well too. Would you mind commenting on that, on what your philosophy is behind that, and why you think it's important, why it's an important way to build a long-term business like
I also want to add, I don't think it's a coincidence on that mindset that throughout a generation where all of us were building big organizations, that mindset dominated the company for many years over anybody who thought differently. So I just want to add that. But anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Well, I was with a client in San Diego, California. I was training a young girl named Nancy Pape. I was field training her. I drive to San Diego to meet with her boss to do a presentation. And ended up replacing his universal life policy, got him with our deal, and he's her boss. And I said, what do you do for a living? He said, well, I train financial advisors. And I thought that was funny. What do you mean you train financial advisors? I just advise you. He said, well, I'm a retired financial advisor. He says, what I do now is I travel across the country teaching financial advisors how to create values-based selling, okay? So guys like you, Gary, would be my client, he said. But I would come in and teach your organization how to create value in selling financial products. He wrote a book called Values-Based Selling. And so me and him became fast friends. He said, I would like to come speak to your organization, if you don't mind. I was like, well, you sell Universal Life. Yeah, I don't know, but I'll buy your books. But I never bought his book. I'm at another friend's office, Marcus Younger, and they were handing out boxes of this book one day. And I go, what is this book? 'Cause I'm a reader. You guys are readers, right? So it's called Values-Based Selling. What? I go, I know that guy. She goes, you know him? Oh, yeah, he's my client. How'd you find out about this? Someone told us about it. So I call him up. His name is Bill Backrack. I go, Bill, your book is circulating through my company. He goes, I told you. I said, come down, man. I want you to come to a meeting for me, right? I'm going to invite the youngers, the whole thing. And he comes down. We obviously pay him to do a speaking engagement, a 2-day class. So we go to Chili's restaurant because he wants to learn about our business. He knows nothing about Primerica other than the name. And so I'm sitting drawing out on a notepad what we do. And he says, hey, what is that ring for you wearing? I go, oh, that's when you make $100,000 a year, you get the ring. Right? And he switched on me because he wanted to learn the business, Jefferson. He says, how many people do you have with that ring on? And I'm cocky at the time. Nobody. He says, why do you think it is? I go, they don't want it bad enough. He goes, can I ask you a question? Yeah. Are you guys structured like Amway? I go, what do you mean? I mean, you have an organization of people that you override. I go, yeah. You know, well, how does that look that you have a ring and they don't? And that burned my butt. Because he wasn't an upline telling me. He was a third-party person with a different eye.
Yeah.
He says, why don't your guys have that ring? And I went, oh, dang. I'm going to have him speak to my guys, and I'm the only guy making 6 figures at that time. Mm-hmm. That didn't look good. So that changed me.
Wow.
And then I got my hands on the E-Myth, Michael Gerber.
Yep.
And that was it. That was it. It's over, baby. I'm now going to go under and push people up. Art Williams, the book. Mm-hmm. I'm going to push people up. I'm going to work for them. They're not going to work for me. Right. I'm going to present. I'm going to close. If they're a rookie, they don't want to close yet. I'm going to do all the work for them. Let them keep the commission. I'm going to override the bonus.
So that was the moment when your philosophy changed.
That's right.
How do you keep that? I completely agree.
Hold on, don't change that. Don't because I want to stay on this topic. So how many people? So you did this, you changed this. You went from you making 6 figures to how long did it take before you had multiple people making 6 figures and 6 figures a month?
It went fast. It was probably 2 or 3 years. I started jumping income just from my overrides alone, which are only like 40%, as you know. Because when I was writing sales, I'm getting 110% commission. I couldn't understand why 40% overrides is better than 10% personal. The math wasn't math in my head. But once Bill Backrack and I got my hands on the E-Myth, and why small businesses don't work and what to do about them, that's the tagline. Then I started realizing, I have to scale my business.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't know what that was. A lot of people doing a little bit and a little bit doing a lot. And you have to embrace those numbers. And so that's why I went on a mission to start teaching it to my guys. So probably within a year or two. Now I had a little bit of slump. I don't lie to you. My income dropped because now I'm no longer a personal producer. So I took a little bit of hit. Matter of fact, my leaders and my friends that knew I was making money, what's going on with Gary, man? What's going on with Gary's? Even my mentor was like, hey, I noticed that you're not personally producing. Man, last month, Gary, you did 100,000 in sales, but you personally had to lead from the front. I go, hey, Rick, of the $100,000, I wrote 65,000 of it.
Yeah.
You did? Yeah, I just let my guys sign it.
Yep. Now, how did you keep your guys from getting a entitlement type mindset, because I'll just bring Gary, he'll just close the cell, and I'll just write off of him. Nah, that didn't happen to me, but I'd just like to hear your 2 cents on that, because I think that's a fear some people think. They think, well, if I put it in their name, they're not going to take off and be leaders of their own. And I think that might be one of the concerns people have, and why they think, well, I'm not going to put it in there. I'm going to punish them if I got to still go with them type mentality, right? So if you don't mind talking about that.
Well, there are leaders to this day that still think that way. Okay, even though we're in 2026, I've proven it works.
Yep.
But what I found to be true, Brandon, is most of those leaders don't really believe that. They don't want to do the work.
That's it.
Talk about what is that work?
Well, that work is the audacity of Brandon to call me and want me to go see his friend Jeff. So if I go with you to see Jeff, I'm going to punish you and take half your commission. Now, Jeff said, I was a foot soldier, so I door knocked, okay, for sales. I been kicked out of malls. I put flyers on cars. I've stood in front of grocery stores with a clipboard soliciting people to buy life insurance. Yeah. So I noticed like to put the work in the real field. Mm-hmm. So I started thinking, hold on a second. So you're gonna punish Brandon, who's delivering business to you where you don't have to be in the mall, by cutting half his pay because you're thinking that he's wasting your time or he's using you. But at the end of the month, you get a nice bonus check that Brandon don't get. Mm-hmm. Let Brandon use you.
Right.
Now, Brandon might be thinking, I'm using Gary. I'm thinking, you're not using me, I'm using you because you brought me your whole natural market. Mm-hmm. Now, watch this. When Brandon takes me to see Jeff, guess what I figured out? He's lazy. He's a worker. Why don't I let him train him? So I started working with Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Big.
Guess what I can do to Brandon now? If he's smart, he'll start running. Why? Because I'm running with your boy Jeff, and Jeff's under you, and Jeff's I'm going to go in district leader this weekend.
Right.
And I'm going to help him go district leader, but I'm going to be with him. Your job is to run to division leader. So I call it burn the leg. Yep. Just light a match to the bottom, and anybody who's a worker is going to run. Mm-hmm. The lazy guy is going to get exposed. Yep. Right. The guy who's using me, Jefferson, he's getting ready to get exposed. Okay? So that's how that worked out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now watch this. Like America, every society has what? Welfare. Mm-hmm. Abuse of it.
Yeah.
So you're still going to have people that's going to abuse that.
Right.
But that's not going to change who I am as a person and punish Brandon for taking me on an appointment to teach him a lesson.
Yep.
Get it? I see a lot of parents do that too. You know, I'm going to teach my kid a lesson. You know, let him run the streets first. All right, when the streets get him,
Right.
he ain't coming back sometimes.
Yeah.
Get it? There are a few that come back and, hey, Mom, I learned the streets. I just like to work at, a gas station, make no money. I learned that lesson. Now I appreciate the business Mom and Dad built. A lot of times they don't make it back.
I remember you talk about this early on in my career, talking about your dad using prayer as a punishment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So
yes. A pastor
maybe
told
you
my
explain
dad.
that.
My dad was a hardcore preacher, as I told you. And me and my brothers would get into fights in the house, like boys do. Come here, son. Get on your knees and pray. Both of you guys. And a bishop happened to be at our house. And I heard him say this to my dad. He says, Bishop, I'm not trying to tell you to run your family, but I don't think you should use prayer as a punishment. Mm-hmm. Prayer is a good thing. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, I'm, of course, listening. I'm probably 9 years old. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting there going, yes, I hate doing this. So please save me. Bishop Evans. He told my dad that. My dad's an old school hardcore. You can't tell me nothing. Can't tell me how to run my household. Mm-hmm. But he listened to Bishop Evans. He said, that's a beautiful thing. You're making it a punishment.
Yeah.
Get it? And that changed the way we looked at prayer.
The same thing. Brandon's setting an appointment, taking you to go see somebody, and you punish him. Why is he going to want to do it again? It's a good thing he's setting an appointment. It's a good thing he's taking you to see somebody, right?
Yeah. Right. I hurt for people, Jeff, because I'm still on the front lines. Mm-hmm. I'm still in the field to this day. Obviously, we do a lot of Zoom, but I'm still doing appointments with that brand new recruit who's under somebody, who's under somebody, who's under somebody. So I'm still out there doing that. But I do know there's leaders in the company where people come to me, complain about their millionaire leader. and they want to come work with me, and I can't poach the guy. But I can list to him. I go, well, who's helping you? Nobody.
Yeah.
So like nobody's like, if you call him for an appointment, I'm scared to call him.
Mm-hmm.
I had a guy come to my office, one who lives around the corner from my office.
Yeah.
He's got another leader. Another leader's a good friend of ours. And he walked to my office. He's in the company already, and he's having a little bit of an issue. I said, well, just call your upline. He'll take care of you. He says, I can call him? I go, well, you're in the same office with him? He goes, yeah, I see him all the time. I go, I'm going to give you a cell phone number. Just call him. He goes, oh, I don't want to do that. I go, what? He goes, yeah, I was told to never call him. I go, I did not grow up like that, Jeff.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
But that scared me that he was scared
Yeah.
to call his mentor.
Right.
So when he left, I called his mentor. I go, hey, man, do you know who this guy is? Yeah. Are you cool with me if I give him your cell number? He goes, yeah, why? I go, for some reason, he's spooked to call you. Someone told him that he should not bug you. Right? So a lot of that element is in there somewhere. That's unfortunate because there are a lot of guys that want to win like that guy.
Yep.
But he doesn't know,
It's usually the guys that want to win the most that don't call. You wish they would more.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think it starts from this place where you're asking this question, where they set an appointment, someone takes them, and they punish it by splitting a sale with them or something like that, and they think like, oh, in order to get help, this guy got to, he's going to punish me.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then they look at everything as a punishment.
The leader that's calling that play thinks that if you put in enough reps, you'll just get better.
Yeah.
Not knowing you're discouraging them. On the flip side of that coin, if your mentor is going with you, closing deals for you, all that does is boost your confidence.
Yeah.
Because after the call, what does he do? After the appointment, what does he do? Man, you're so awesome, bro. It's a great appointment. Keep setting this thing up. All it does is add more helium to his head. He's like, bro, I'm good at this. I'm getting better at this. And that encourages them to do more.
It's a confidence that you're looking to bring them.
That's it. You're breeding it.
Yeah, exactly. I was an EMT. Okay, I made $5.90 an hour. I do my job. I was changing time for money. I hated commission sales. I tried it one time when I was a 16-year-old, door knocking for the Lakers. My brother's door knocking for the Lakers. I was door knocking to ask people, can I paint their address on their curve? Little summer job. I didn't last a block. I'm out of here. I will never do sales ever again. And so people are scared of sales. They really are. They're intimidated by the whole process. And I know that because I know I was. So when people come into business today, I had to remind myself, Gary, don't forget, think Gary Kornegay, age 16.
Yeah.
That lady probably has a heart of gold, but she's a scared puppy. Get it? But if you go with her, it's the big brother syndrome. You're like my little brother Jonathan. I'm 12 years older than him. And when he was a kid growing up, 13, 14, I'm already married, making good money. I don't live in the hood anymore. But he still lives in the hood. So I happened to be at one of my parents' homes, changing a lock on one of the rental properties, and he comes running down the street, and these guys tried to jump me. Well, I happened to be one of my Primerica friends. Well, we're suited. We're not dressed like street dudes. And what happened? Some guys down the street tried to jump me. So I locked the house up, me and my boy walked down the street. And which guy? It was like 5 guys. And which guy tried to jump you? That guy right there. I said, okay, cool. Here's what's gonna happen. Hey guys, these 2 guys are gonna fight, okay? And we're gonna sit back and watch. You jump in, we're gonna jump in. Before I could finish saying that, my little brother was on top of that guy already. I didn't even know my brother could fight. But his confidence was there because we were there.
Right.
Get it?
Right.
Amazing.
I had to put my little brother off the guy. Like, hey, let's go.
Yep.
Everybody's good? Everybody's good. Right? But it was like a sense of, why did Jonathan behave totally different? I didn't do the fighting for him.
Yeah.
Get it? He did it.
Yeah.
But his confidence was up.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. If I go with people on an appointment, whether I speak or not, they're confident that my big brother Gary is on this Zoom right now.
That's it.
Well, I'll tell everybody, I watched you do this with, I think it was David
Chavez, Art
Martinez that whole time.
Diana Turan.
I came out one time and Art and Juana picked me up at the airport. He was still a regional leader, I think. But he still didn't know much about the business, but he was rocking because of all this you were helping him do. And he had this crazy comment, sort of David, right? And it was just an interesting dynamic because they were still so young in the business, experience-wise, but they had all this momentum. And their confidence was high, even though they were still learning. And the questions they were asking me, how do you not know this and you're as big as you are? Yeah. And it was eye-opening to me because I got to do a better job with my people to help them get in that same confidence. I mean, so I came back from those type of events with you. I'm telling you, you changed my life, by the way, because I came back and implemented all that stuff. And I had a guy named Steve Vaughn that he didn't have time to really do the business. He was a contractor here in town. And I just went out with him. He knew it. But yeah, he had great credibility. David Chavez, incredible warm market. Mm-hmm. And we just went and saw a bunch of people. And I just did my best to make him the next hero of heroes. He didn't do any of it. But I just I truly made him the hero. And it kind of ticked everybody else off, like you did with G2, right? Mm-hmm. But I was so sick and tired of just being small. I just wanted to get this thing cranking. Mm-hmm. So just for what that's worth to you, I watched you do this.
And today, Art Martinez at Jefferson is a multi-millionaire in the company. From being a warehouseman, making $29,000 a year, not confident about professional suit and tie, financial service, very intimidating to a guy who works as a forklift driver. Yeah. Right. Today, he's cocky. He went too far.
You know what's cool, Gary, is we were talking right before we started about how many people's lives have been impacted by this business.
Yes.
And the trickle effect that it's had. And not everybody's still in the business.
Yeah, that's correct.
I was just in there for just a flicker. Mm-hmm. And I got exposed to something I'd never been exposed to before. I came up in a blue-collar community, blue-collar family. Mm-hmm. And the personal development, the reading books, the talk about turning your TV off and reading a book instead. It was like, I think I like this.
Yeah.
And then how it trickles into business philosophy and what we do here at JKR Windows, although it's different than financial services, it's if you came and hung around here and heard the meetings and the way that our salespeople talk, it's like, wow, this is like this Art Williams trickled into JKR Windows.
Yeah, second nature.
Yeah. Jeff said when we were talking earlier about that, is I don't know how we can measure that today to say, if we could find a way to get in touch with all the people that came through, that went on to do bigger and better things in life, whether it be just be a great dad, a great husband, a great wife, that'd be something to see. And then get back with Art Williams, the founder, who I spoke to last Thursday. He's 84 years old, phenomenal guy. And I wrote him a letter after I talked to him Thursday, and that letter was, there are countless people that you will never know, of lives you changed. And there's no way to measure that. And I'm meeting you today, Jefferson, and hearing a little bit of your story and how you came through just enough to get the nuggets that you need. And now you built this massive biz with these two crazy guys that have been my buddies forever. It's amazing. Yeah. And so if there's ever a book to be written, or how transferable these philosophies are. Right. So it's not you're just getting something for, the window business or financial business. It's like you're getting something that's good for life.
And in all areas of life.
Yes.
Because as long as I've known both of these guys, I've heard the name Gary Kornegay. Mm-hmm. And you made an impact on these guys' lives. So you could argue the same thing that you said to Art, these guys would say about you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No doubt.
You're also amazing, too, is I watch Jefferson's this way, too, and I've seen you do this where you believe what you're doing is the best. Mm-hmm. America's best opportunity in the world. Yeah. But you also cheerlead those who decide to do other things as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I see Jefferson do that too. He believes JKR Windows is the best opportunity in the world, right? But if someone chooses it's not for them, and we all do our best to do that, If it's not for you, we want you to go win. Go win in this world,
That's
right?
right?
The world's a better place that way, right? It's not this way or the highway. Right. Although you have pride in what you're doing, right. And you believe it's the best opportunity.
There's enough for everybody, dude.
It's not for everybody, and that's okay.
There is enough.
I want to be at least remembered, and I know that you guys have had people leave your businesses and go on to do other things, but they remember you for the impact that you had on their lives during that time that they got to spend with you. Yeah, and
that's the greatest thing. As a 63-year-old grandfather now, even before I had grandkids, the greatest compliment is when you're moving about life and a cop pulls you over for whatever, your speed and whatever, and you say, driver's license registration, Gary Kornegay, my mom, you helped her, or
How about in the line at MGM going to the Mayweather fight? You remember that?
I remember went to the fight.
We walk up to the counter, and before we say anything, the girl says, "Welcome, Mr. Kornegay and Mr. Fieldstead."
Oh yes, I remember that.
She
How
goes,
do you know that?
I was in your base shop like 5 years ago. You don't know me, but I used to
So
sit in the
cool.
back of the room.
Yeah, that's why you
Crazy.
be nice to everybody. That's my slogan when my kids were babies and going off to school, should I say, elementary, middle school, and high school. I drive them to school every morning, and when they get out, I would say, "What? Attitude's everything. Be nice to everybody." To everybody, right? And that's in business, outside of business, because these people go on. You never know. Your cardiologist one day could be the son of a Primerica person,
Right.
you know, or he was a Primerica guy. He became a cardiologist.
Right.
But if you're thinking, if you're not with this company anymore, to me that's cult like, and I hate to say that.
Yeah.
And that's also for me growing up in the inner city is gang culture. I don't like gang culture. Gang culture is if you're not with us, you're against us. I've never been that kind of person. I grew up in ministry. I've seen some of the worst of the worst of the worst come through my dad's church. You know, come straight out of prison, straight to my dad, and my dad advocate for them to get back on track. I've seen people that had addictions, drugs, alcohol, you name it, gambling addictions, and I watched them sit at my kitchen table with my mom and my dad. And so we never judge people. And so when a person comes through Primerica and they want to go out and do something else, why would I ruin my friendship over that? Why would I do that? I mean, I'm not that narrow-minded to think that my way is the only way. And remember, I grew up in a religious household, okay? And maybe that's why I'm probably traumatized from that, because I couldn't talk to kids that were parents were divorced.
But don't you think if your goal is to make an impact in other people's lives, that it's almost impossible to do if you expect everybody to stay with you and not
It
be
is
able to
impossible
go
to
out?
do. Not almost,
You know,
it is
the way I always thought about it too is I lost a lot of great people along the way. And very early, I tried to start taking responsibility for it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, they may have had passions and this was just a season. But for me, it was also look yourself in the mirror. You just weren't at a level yet as a leader with an opportunity that they could stay here long enough. And how can you get better? So it's, you know, your funnel, your opportunity, the environment, the culture is something that great, incredible people will uproot their life and come be a part of what you're doing.